So in last video, we talked about people often pursue multiple goals simultaneously. So next, I want to talk about a different approach or perspective to see this proposition regarding multiple goals. It's called primary and secondary goals. But before I go deep into it, I would like to invite you to picture a scenario with me. So this Friday, your parents or your romantic partner will pay a visit to you and will arrive in Vienna airport. So you want to borrow a car from your friend to pick them up because they have lots of luggages. And you think around about all your friends, and it comes to you that your friend Mike, he has a car. And here is a question. How many of you would just approach Mike and say, "Hey, Mike, give me your car"? How many of you would just make this request in such a direct and rude way? Probably not, right? And my next question is why? Why don't you just make this request in such simple and clear and easy way? It's super efficient. You got your point crossed clearly in just one sentence. While some of you may say it's not rude, this may hurt Mike's feeling, this may screw up your friendship, etc. I agree with all these answers. We're getting super close with these primary and secondary goals. The main point here is whenever we want to get our points crossed in a conversation, we always have some concerns, such as we want to be a polite person, we want to value this relationship, we want to make sure that both parties of this conversation are happy, are pleasant. So this main point we want to communicate in a conversation, we call it primary goals. And these concerns, we call them secondary goals. So in other words, the primary goals are what we communicate. That's the main point we want to get crossed in a conversation. And same time, we also have some concerns, such as we want to be a polite person, we don't want to ruin this relationship. These concerns, we call them secondary goals. And the secondary goals affect the way we communicate our primary goals. Say, for example, take the borrowing Mac's car as an example. Technically, we could just say, "Hey, Mac, give me your car." So this is a super direct and easy way to communicate our primary goal, which is to borrow his car. We don't want to make this request in a direct and a rude way. It is because we have some concerns, and these concerns, we call them secondary goals. So secondary goals would affect the way we communicate our primary goals. To be more concrete, because of these secondary goals, I don't want to make the request, or I don't want to communicate my primary goal in a direct and a rude way. I want to be more polite, probably more strategic. And it is because we have these secondary goals, we have these concerns. So let's talk a little bit more about these primary goals and the secondary goals. More often than not, the primary goals operate at the forefront of our mind. We call it push goals because this goal pushes us or drives us to initiate conversation. So in other words, it is a motivation for speaking or acting. For the example of borrowing Mike's car, while you talk with Mike, it is because you have a primary goal in your mind, which is to persuade Mike to lend his car to you for one night. And if you want to talk about it from a more abstract level, you want to make changes about Mike's behaviors. And from Mike's perspective, this primary goal also serves as a guidance function, help him identify what to pay attention to remember. Let's say you may start the conversation by doing some kind of small talk, some kind of catch up. But it's likely that your Mike, he won't remember what movies you saw last weekend. He won't remember what kind of class projects you have been working on. But he will pay attention and remember you want to ask him to borrow his car for one night. So all in all, these primary goals define what we communicate and explain why this interaction, why this conversation is taking place. Because of primary goals, push goals. So what kind of primary goals we could have? Researchers have categorized the primary goals into three big categories. The first one we call it self-presentational goals. Let's say if you still remember the last time you introduced yourself to other people, I guess probably the information you disclosed about yourself is quite selective. You don't want to present everything about yourself to other people. You may want to pick something positive, something unique about yourself, and disclose this information to your communication partner. Why? It is because you have a self-presentational goal, and all the information you disclose about yourself will help you achieve this goal. Let me give you a more concrete example. Let's say I'm interviewing for a position, and today is my interview day. So for this interview day, for all the conversations I have with my possibly future employer, I want to talk about all the embarrassments I have in my life. I won't talk about the fight I have with my families. Why? It is because today is my interview day, and I have a self-presentational goal, which is I want to project an image that I'm a competent, I'm a qualified job candidate for this position. So all the information I choose to communicate will help me achieve this goal. In the same way, when you introduce yourself to other people, depending on who you are communicating with, depending on the situational factors, you may aim for different images to project. Say you want to be a friendly person, you want to look kind, friendly, or you want to look like a chill guy. So depending on different images you want to project, all the verbal and non-verbal messages you produce will help you achieve your self-presentational goal. So that is a first type of primary goal we could have, self-presentational goal. Let's talk about second one. We call it relational goal. So relational goal is when we create communication that seeks to make changes or maintain a relationship. So making changes, it could be something good. I want to escalate a relationship to an even more close relationship. I want to make friends with you. I want to turn a friendship into a romantic relationship. Or it could be something negative, something bad, such as I want to dump you. I don't want to see you anymore, etc. So whenever the conversation is about changing or maintaining a relationship, we call it a relational goal. And third type of primary goal we could have here is instrumental goal. This instrumental goal involves all the persuasive effort. Let's say if you want to persuade other people to adopt a new behavior, or you want to change others' attitudes, you have an instrumental goal. So all the persuasive effort goes into this category. So this persuasion or this influence can be about people's attitude, such as I want to talk with you to change your attitude towards President Trump. So in this situation, I have an instrumental goal because I'm putting some potential influence on your attitude. And this persuasion could be also on people's behaviors, such as I want to give you a pitch and persuade you to buy our new product. So I'm putting some potential influence on your future behaviors. Again, I'm having an instrumental goal here in this situation. So these are the three primary goals we could have: a self-presentational goal, relational goal, and instrumental goal. Okay, if you have a clear understanding about these three primary goals, I'm going to give you guys a little exercise. So please click the video below. It's from the movie Before Sunrise. So take a look at this conversation and Can you identify what kind of primary goals does this male character have in this conversation? His name is Jesse. So what kind of primary goals does Jesse have in this conversation? Okay, welcome back. We can see clearly Jesse has all these three primary goals in his mind. The first one, he wants to project an image that he is a fun guy to hang out with, he's humorous, he's an attractive guy. So self-presentational goal checked. Second, he wants to get closer with this girl. Her name is Celine. So he wants to spend one night together with this girl. Of course, he has this relational goal in his mind as well. And third, of course, he wants to put some influence on Celine's behavior. He was trying to ask her to get off the train and spend one night together with him. And he has this instrumental goal as well. So if you have a clear understanding about these three primary goals, let's continue our journal entry. So just write down the conversation plot in your mind to ask your friend to go out. And here is the second question to consider. Go back to the asking for a date conversation you just wrote. Answer the following questions. What primary goals do you attempt to achieve in this conversation? Please explain why you think you have these particular primary goals in this conversation.